Joining us now in Studio V is former head coach of BYU basketball and Fresno State, Steve Cleveland. Coach, great to have you with us. Which BYU player are you trying to buy low and sell high with in this whole stock exchange discussion?
I'm going to agree with my over here.
Okay.
Peter Quest.
Peter Quest.
You've got a connection to Peter Quest.
We do. The high school that I started at, Clovis West High School, many moons ago, is the same school that he went to. I actually coached the golf team a little bit. Could not play a lick, but it was an extra couple grand that I could get for doing it. So basketball was over. I made a little extra money. But Peter is a great young man. I know his family. Won 4 tournaments. Now, that doesn't happen very often at this point in time. And so, yeah, we do have a connection. I've had a chance to walk around and watch him play. But, yeah, we're members of the same club, and his family's there, and really excited for him.
Yeah, Clovis West connection.
It'll be what's the mascot there? At
Eagles.
Clovis West.
Golden Eagles.
The Golden Eagles? Oh, yeah, he's soaring. Absolutely.
He's soaring.
Oh, an eagle for golf? Like, could it be any more perfect?
Exactly.
Or some kind of falcon or
he double-eagled the first hole of the NCAA tournament last year.
Yes, he did. Yeah, it was awesome. Okay, let's talk hoops. So which BYU player do you think has to have the best tournament for BYU to give themselves a shot to get to Tuesday?
If Yoli Childs does not play well night in and night out, and he's 20 and 10, 28 and 14, they won't go forward. There's no one else in that team that can carry this team. He is the foundation of this team, and as good as TJ has been, and he has been, you've got to have something inside. You've got to have that presence rebounding the basketball. He impacts the game more ways than any other player on the team.
Yeah, we watched more than a handful of teams yesterday on the men's side last night in the opening round. Not really have much of a post presence, and you see what that does to teams when they don't have that consistency down low.
Well, and what ends up happening is other teams' good players get in foul trouble, and when we know what happens when Yoli gets in foul trouble and he's not on the floor. It's one of those things that the team is not as good as they could be. So, no, I believe everything starts and stops with Yoli in terms of this team, getting to the finals and playing Gonzaga.
Is this team good enough to beat St. Mary's in a neutral fashion for a second consecutive year and get to Tuesday night?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I think that what St. Mary's has done is pretty remarkable, considering the 4-year run they had, and with Landale and the presence they had inside. And then to kind of start all over and get a second seed. I think there's congratulations to Randy Bennett. Might be his best coaching job there. Interestingly enough, with St. Mary's, a team I do believe BYU can beat because they match up well with them, is in a position to go to the NCAA tournament.
I know.
And maybe only win 21, 22, 23 games, where in the past 3 or 4 years they've been winning 27, 28, and can't get a sniff because they didn't have the schedule.
Yeah, they actually played somebody this year.
And and most of those teams they played, they lost to. But that's the whole idea. Go play those people, which BYU did too. And they improved their schedule. So, yeah, I do believe that BYU can beat St. Mary's. One thing about St. Mary's is they're really good at taking you out of what you want to do offensively. So I think it'll be a great matchup. I expect to see that matchup, and it'll be a great basketball game.
Good for St. Mary's to leave the state of California non-conference. Just nice job, guys. You did it. Let's talk about TJ Haws. He's in a unique situation where he's the clear number 2. I think when Jashir Hardnett got hurt, his game went up. He's a junior. It takes a minute sometimes. He was slided as not being on the first team. He's on the second team. You've coached a lot of players over the years. Some players use stuff, other players don't for motivation. Could he perhaps use this as a motivator to say, I'm going to show you I'm first team out here?
He could. I don't know that he will. I think he has a lot of confidence in himself, and he knows. And every young man loves it to receive those accolades. And maybe more important to their parents and grandparents. Okay, but he's a competitor. And I think every time he plays, he seems to have a chip on his shoulder and has something to prove. And that's why he's had such a good year this year. He's got so many different speeds. He has the ability to score so many multiple ways. And now he's become a better passer, and he's not as loose with the ball. And so, the one thing that TJ will continue to work on is that there are really good guards in this league. and to stay in front and guard them and stay out of foul trouble. Because when he gets in foul trouble, then we don't have that BYU team does not have the ability to create points when teams lock you up. And TJ has the ability with different speeds and different ways to pull up and shoot threes, get in the lane, little runners. He's got a variety of ways he scores.
And perhaps that's the increased value of McKay Cannon, where he's guarding the Frankie Ferraris and the Jordan Fords of the league.
He is, and it takes a little bit of pressure off of TJ, and I think that this team could really benefit from Cannon and Selyus, Harding, and others stepping up and contributing. We just watched 2 games last night. Did any of the real, besides Pinero in the second half, I mean, it was the other guys in that Pacific game. I mean, it was brutal. We had never heard of those people that scored and made baskets, and it's going to be someone else it has to be someone else besides Yoli and TJ. Who's going to step up? Who's going to make the play? Who's going to make a big three? And there are a few candidates to do that. They just got to do that.
Steve Cleveland, former standout at Clovis West and Irvine, had the flowing locks to go with that California
beautiful
style.
It was like a golden eagle.
Golden eagle.
As an anteater.
Also the head coach at BYU and Fresno State in his very successful career. We pointed out earlier on the show that BYU had 3 double-figure scores in that 5-point win against St. Mary's in Provo. Yoli Childs goes for 20-plus, TJ Haas, 18, 17, and Gavin Baxter had kind of a breakout performance against the Gales with 10 points and 5 rebounds. What's a fair expectation for Gavin Baxter after he missed essentially a week, being out sick, didn't play against San Diego, and he's not the heftiest guy. I mean, if he's sick, he loses a little bit of weight, and he's kind of going to have a tough time transitioning back in. What can we expect from him?
I think in the first 5 minutes he's going to find out real quickly, because there will be a lot of energy. And he's gonna have the desire. He's gonna be motivated. He's gonna play hard and do those things. It's how long he can sustain it, and that staying power when you've been sick. So I would suspect that they'll bring him in for short periods of time early, let him breathe, keep a lot of liquids in him, and then put himself in a situation where he can contribute, because they can really, really use him. Listen, we're kind of jumping ahead to St. Mary's, but the fact is, San Diego and Santa Clara, those are games that they're not going to be easy. And we watched San Diego last night, the second half. They look really good, though I don't believe San Diego, after playing 3 games, or playing that 3rd game, can beat BYU. It's just too difficult. Santa Clara, let's not forget, was down 2 with 1:47 in Provo. Had a chance to win that game there. It was a long time ago, but Santa Clara is a sneaky good team, and they're going to be prepared. It will not surprise me if Santa Clara beats San Diego, just because they're rested and they've improved and gotten better.
Yeah, they're playing better basketball.
They're playing better basketball.
Let's talk about Gonzaga. #1 team in the country, won the league by 5 games. Is this a good thing for the West Coast Conference? We both agree, but it's tough for all the other teams in the league to kind of deal with that. So it's a give or take situation.
It is a give and take. I mean, everybody knows the teams in the WCC because Gonzaga is there, you know, and I think that there is a lot of attention. I think what's happened this year in the conference, which I really like, is everybody's improved their schedules. And I do believe that this can be a 2-bid league if we improve the schedule. We've seen that with St. Mary's. If St. Mary's gets to the finals, they're knocking on the door of the NCAA tournament, where they couldn't even get near the door, winning 28 games, playing, like you said, nobody out of the state of California. But I think it's a really positive thing. I think it's elevated. Is the league not better this year?
It is.
Talent,
and I want to ask this question, too. Does it matter if the league was better if they only get 1 bid in?
No, in short term, no. Long term, yes.
You think that will lead to more bids in the future?
I do believe it will. And I think Gonzaga brings so much recognition to this league and the other teams. We're on TV. I mean, the WCC is on TV every week.
ESPN contract.
This is not the WAC. It's not the Big Sky. Even the Mountain West doesn't get the TV exposure that the WCC gets because of Gonzaga.
One reason BYU left, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I think there are a lot of pluses. I mean, the negative is it's really hard to win a championship in this league, but it does make teams better. And you play to win championships. But there are other conferences. I have to kind of think about how how the Connecticut women feel, how the teams in their league, you know. But it brings everybody up. It brings everybody up, and I think it's a real positive thing. And because of how Gonzaga runs their program, and from coaches to administration and everything, it's hard not to root against them. It's not like they're the evil.
They haven't done a lot to annoy.
No, they haven't done a lot.
St. Mary's has done a lot more for BYU fans. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
The rivalry is there.
There's a perception of being on the same level as opposed to Gonzaga, where it's like, we know there's a separation.
Yeah.
We're trying to nip you a couple times.
And they did. And BYU
and
has
they
done
have,
that.
which is pretty incredible.
And I would say the odds are pretty slim that someone's going to beat them in this tournament. But this is 1 year. And I do believe as this league gets better, that will begin to happen. And that Gonzaga will get beat by teams other than BYU or St. Mary's.
Steve Cleveland called the Pepperdine comeback win over Pacific last night right here from this very desk. He looked at me and said, Pepperdine's going to win this game. And I was like, oh, really?
I wish he had said that on the air at halftime or something, though. It's always off the air when no one hears. That's crazy.
Well, that's why I got to bring it up.
We're doing a halftime show.
Yeah.
We can't say anything until halftime or right after.
Coach, great to have you with us.
Good to be with you.
I look forward to more from a very busy day here on a Friday at the Orleans Arena.
Okay, go take a nap. We'll be back later, right?
No naps for me.